Hello everybody and welcome back to the Spotlight series, where I take a closer, more in-depth look at certain characters and character variants from the Disney Cars diecast line. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette. That's right, we're back. Again. Yeah, the Spotlight series has really inconsistent releases. I'm working on it though. I want to try to bring this back to being a weekly or twice weekly series. I really love doing this series. It's like I'm making like an encyclopedia of Cars reviews. I want this to be a guide where you could learn, all you need to know about certain Cars diecasts and variants and such. And in order to do that, I need to make some more episodes. So, I'm really excited to bring it back. And now I'm having you guys vote for who the Spotlight series episode should be on. There's currently a poll up for the next episode, and we're going to be putting up a poll later today for the episode after that, so you guys can vote for some future episodes. Anyway, though, let's get started with today's episode on Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette. Now, we all know Jeff Gorvette. Jeff first appeared in Cars 2, where he was the American racer in the World Grand Prix, voiced by and based off of real-world racer Jeff Gordon. He speaks in the US version of the Tokyo party scene, but was famously swapped out for several different characters internationally. He also has some lines at the end of the movie at the Radiator Springs Grand Prix as well, where he talks to Lewis Hamilton. Jeff then appeared again in Cars 3, now as a retired racer. He appears very briefly when Lightning first shows up at the Florida 500, telling Lightning to win one for us old guys. Jeff is a 2009 Corvette C6R, and his Cars 3 Meet the Cars description says the following. Jeff Gorvette was once one of the greatest race cars. His ability to succeed on the big ovals as well as the road courses made him respected around the world. Having moved from his hometown of Vallejo, California to Indiana to be closer to the racing world, Gorvette's ability to succeed at all levels at such a young age turned hoods whenever he competed. His Rookie of the Year awards and number of top 10 finishes were unmatched. Note the fact that they're talking about Jeff in the past tense there, since he's supposed to be retired by the time of Cars 3. Although the Cars 2 diecast of Jeff Gorvette has been re-released basically annually since he first came out back in 2011, the Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette is considerably more rare, only ever having been released once back in 2017 in a 2-pack with the King. A 2-pack that was really hard to find when it first came out. I actually received it as a Christmas gift. I think the people I got it from bought it online for me. So yeah, definitely pretty rare. Remember that wave being pretty hard to find when it came out, and this was definitely one of the most desirable 2-packs for its inclusion of Jeff. He was in a 2-pack with the King, which I think was very appropriate. Even though they didn't share any screen time together, they were both characters who appeared in some of the other Cars movies, voiced by real-world racers, where they were active racers in that movie, and then cameoed again in Cars 3 as retired racers. I think, putting him with the King just kind of fits. It's like the returning cameos 2-pack. Unfortunately, although I searched, I could not find any listings for this 2-pack online currently. It's that rare currently. I like to try to give like a ballpark average price for these cars in the Spotlight series episodes, but I couldn't find anything for Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette, not even a loose listing for him. Although Cars 2 Jeff Gorvette gets a bunch of merchandise and still does to this day, Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette really hasn't seen all that much love. Aside from his 155 scale diecast, he also has a Tomica release, and he also has a Disney Store release, but I don't think there's really anything else for him. At least, not that I know of. Now, moving on to the review of his diecast, he's got the same exact expression as the Cars 2 Jeff. Unfortunately, his Corvette logo is missing on his hood. This was fixed later on. This is the original 2011 Jeff. A few years after his release, they fixed him and gave him his Corvette logo on the hood, but unfortunately, that was not included on his Cars 3 variant for whatever reason. He's got his yellow headlights there, got the bumper. Moving on to the side, you can see that most of the American flag logos have been removed from him, as well as any mention of All in All or the World Grand Prix, which is appropriate. Although his 24 still includes that same sort of emblem shape with the American flag behind it, just without that World Grand Prix logo on it now, which I always found interesting. We have some flames on the side, I believe similar to some actual cars that the real-world Jeff Gordon used, although not 100% sure on that. Got his wheels there, which are exactly the same as the Cars 2 Jeff Gorvette's wheels. We also have all this gray detailing that is definitely less easy to spot on his Cars 2 variant, but it is there as well. Moving on to the spoiler, you can see that it is completely blank. The other merchandise for Cars 3 Jeff definitely has the spoiler be a lot more green than it is on his 155 scale diecast. Though unfortunately, we really don't get a good enough look at Jeff to determine what's the most accurate. Moving on to the back, you can see we've got the 24 there, once again in that sort of emblem shape, just with the World Grand Prix logos removed. His Corvette logo is actually missing from the back as well, even though it's on the back here, which is interesting. And whereas his license plate was blacked out on his Cars 2 release, here we could see that it reads J08-04G. I really wouldn't be surprised if that was a reference. Probably is, maybe to a birth date or something. Alright, so doing a bit of research, just like I guessed, the 8-4 references Jeff Gordon's birthday, August 4th, and of course the J and G are for Jeff Gorvette. Moving on, there is a look at his other side, which is the same, still with all of those flame designs. And then there is a look at the base. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of the Spotlight series. Really glad to have it back, and I can't wait to do more episodes in the future. Let me know your thoughts on Cars 3 Jeff Gorvette in the comments. Do you own him? Do you want to get him? Are you hoping for a re-release of him? And what's your favorite Jeff Gorvette variant? Let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.